perfect time to start your project. Montgomery Showers, local, quality value, MontgomeryShowers.com.
Local 3 School Patrol covering the classrooms in your community.
In recent years, the divorce rates in America have slowly gone down, but even still, between 40 and 50% of first marriages fall apart, and that number tends to go up for second marriages. No one will ever tell you that getting a divorce is easy, but at Bridging Divorce Solutions, they try to make it a little easier. We're so happy this morning to welcome Brenda Bridges, who is the one who can walk you through and make this process not be so hostile. So good to see you.
Good to see you, Julie.
So when you begin to kind of rattle off for me off camera kind of the different things you do, it seemed to be an endless list, because you help people really start to finish, even from the very minute they're even considering a divorce. Is that right?
Yeah, and I would say that that's the most important time for many, because you're making a series of choices, and your next choice is going to start you down a path that often you can't roll back once you've started down. So at the very beginning, when someone is thinking about the divorce or starting to actually make the process, begin the process, let's say, if they immediately go to, let's say, a very aggressive attorney who really likes court and loves to litigate, then they've kind of locked in that process, where they and their spouse might still be speaking. They might have just decided that they no longer want to be married, and they want to pick the most sensible, cost-effective, time-effective way to end their marriage and move on, but not hate each other.
Yeah, and I guess I've never gone through a divorce, but you hear people say that, like you mentioned it, hey, I think about getting a divorce, and then immediately friends begin to chime in, oh, well, this is the attorney you want to see, or you better watch out for this, protect this, and kind of the adversarial nature, I guess, just swarms in without you even trying to create it.
It swarms in, and there's not a lot of question asking when that takes place. Like, you'll see social media posts where someone says, I need a bulldog right away, I'm getting divorced. Well, do you? Maybe, but maybe not. Or there was one I saw this week where a lot of the advice that was given was actually erroneous. So social media might not be your best place to get accurate facts about what you should do next, or thoughtful guidance.
So you are not an attorney.
I am not.
But you are a mediator.
Yes.
So talk about what you will do, and also let me just show you this. She brought in this book. This is how much she's thought this all through. So this is the book. It's available on Amazon, but she also sells it through her office, because you said some people might not want their spouse to see it on the Amazon account.
Some people want to start, usually there's a 2-year lapse. That's what research shows. There's a gap from when one spouse starts thinking about divorce until they tell the other spouse. So if they're trying to get themselves educated about their options, which is really a good thing to do, they aren't maybe ready to tell their spouse that they're thinking about divorce, but they want to learn more about the best way to do it. And that can be really important. Even things like how you tell your spouse you want a divorce can set the table for how things are going to play out.
So is some of this in the book? Okay, so if somebody does not read the book first, they want to just come and meet with you, what does that initial conversation look like?
Call it a discovery call, and it's really kind of a triage. It's learning about where they are and what's going on, what they've thought about, what questions they have, and it's letting them know what options they have, because hiring an attorney and going to court is not the only option. They can do a collaborative process, which is private, out of court, but with attorney assistance. They have to be trained in collaborative process.
And you are?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I was the head, I moved from Illinois and was the president of the Collaborative Group of Illinois, and I'm trying to establish that in our region in Tennessee.
So you just came to Chattanooga and opened this in 2021,
Correct.
right?
Moved in 2020.
Okay, you're a COVID baby.
COVID baby.
So when people come to you, is it typically, Brenda, just one spouse, or do you ever see both spouses?
I do see both spouses. I have a meeting after this where I will see both spouses, because they are still talking. They've agreed they want a divorce. They both want to they want to be empowered, and they want to have control of their process. They don't want to take sides,
right?
But they want to move on.
And sometimes I guess it can be difficult, because typically, I'm assuming, the conversations focus on the finances, house, investments, that kind of thing, and then the kids,
right?
Or pets,
right?
Or both. So is it sometimes you have to play mediator in the sense of interpreting, okay, I think husband, this is what your wife is saying, and vice versa?
And trying to help them say, because they got to that place for a reason, and there are established patterns probably of non-communication. So it's to help them hear each other. And often they're more open to hearing each other as they go through the divorce process because they have a shared goal and they really, truly care about each other. I will hear people say, I love him or her. We just don't want to be married anymore.
And they love their children, and so they
Most
don't
of
want
all.
that chaos to suffer, to cause them problems. So their time with you, is there a typical length of time your clients are with you?
It's really more client driven. So we're there to support their schedule. I would say typically, and this is in contrast, so when I hear from divorce attorneys in the Chattanooga area how long it takes to get divorced, when you are going through the court system, it's about 2 years.
Wow.
And when we do a mediation, it's usually 3 to 4 months.
And
So it's
everything is
significantly-
legal, so even though you are not an attorney, you handle all the paperwork, if you will, and then it's sent to the attorney to draw up the paperwork.
Yes, I'm not an attorney. I do not play one on TV. I do the agreement. I write up all of their details. We do the financial part, which is not usually a part that attorneys touch in the detail that we do, because I was formerly a financial advisor and am now a certified divorce financial analyst, so I specialize in divorce finances. They're different. It's different than retirement planning and so on from the financial advisor point of view. And it can get really complicated, and that's where mistakes can be made on the legal side. If something is written incorrectly or calculated incorrectly and then filed, it's done, and the only recourse is to go back to court, which no one wants to do.
Right. So I'm being told that we have to wrap it up, but your countenance is such a warm one. I'm sure that people feel very welcomed when they come through the door and feel like you're going to really listen to them and
That's
not
the
just see
goal.
them as a client. So here's where you'll find her. It's called Bridging Divorce Solutions. Her name is Brenda Bridges. She's down on Broad Street, so she just moved from Illinois, thus the 844 area code, I'm guessing. Is that right?
That's an 800 number.
It's an
actually.
800 number, okay.
Yeah.
844-306-0166 and online, bridgingdivorcesolutions.com. It does not have to be hostile.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Technology has greatly changed the world we live in. Unfortunately, though, we see the unintended consequences caused by cell phones on a daily basis.